Have any of you guys ever heard the app Telegram? Telegram is more widely known for being an environment where content that's banned elsewhere is encouraged and broadcasted and shared with way less scrutiny than any other app. Now, you can't really blame a whole site for the bad decisions that its users take in because Telegram itself has 950 million users alone. How are they supposed to keep track of every single user on that app? I mean, as long as they find out that there's a problem and they immediately remove it, that should be fine, right? That's what I thought too, but the line starts to get really blurred when you find out that Telegram's own representative, Remy Vaughn, has had to protect Telegram's reputation on multiple occasions, once even stating that the app has moderated child abuse content since the app was created, and they've closed down 50,000 groups and channels for child abuse alone in 1 month. It begs the question of why do 50,000 different channels feel comfortable enough to openly send child abuse content within your app? And to what point does the situation get so bad to where the CEO himself has to get arrested on multiple charges? One of them including complicity to spread child abuse images and traffic drugs. These apps are supposed to be used as fun ways to communicate with each other, but what happens when apps like Telegram get into the hands of people with evil intentions or people that have absolutely no human moral compass whatsoever? And what happens when those same people get in touch, meet up, and trade over hundreds of videos of CP within the span of 4 days? Some of that content allegedly showing kids as young as infants, and one allegedly showing the rape and essay of a 10-year-old being beaten and tied up by a grown man. Today's case, we'll be talking about a widely known OF star with over 1 million followers on X that goes by the name of Austin Wolf, and how he was caught with the phone in his Manhattan apartment, linking him to conversations with another offender caught by FBI, and an SD card allegedly containing hundreds of videos and likely pictures of CP content. Before we get on, I want to start with some disclaimers. One, I'm not going to be doing the full intro, probably like cut it up or just be a little bit more chill. Like, I can't really get on here and give the most with the intro and then literally talk about children being abused. Like, it's just not possible. Two, this case is involving a very popular gay adult film star. Just because he is gay does not make this a gay problem. It doesn't matter what the sexual orientation is. It literally is just the people that are sick. Like, it has nothing to do with race, sexuality, any of that. So I want to make that very clear. Also, we do live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, and there has not been a conviction yet. So Austin is still technically innocent, but he has been arrested. This is not a video for me to persuade your opinions or for you guys to have the same opinions as me. This is just a video for me to let you know about the case, and this is my very first time doing it. So if you guys could just bear with me, my storytelling is a little sporadic. I'm gonna try to clean it up with the editing, but I'm not really used to journalism storytelling. I'm more used to just getting on here inventing storytelling. It's a little different. Please bear with me. And lastly, but never least, this is a trigger warning. I need you guys to know that this does deal with CP, child abuse, anything that really falls into that category. So if that's something that triggers you or that's something that you just can't handle, which I completely understand, it's okay. I will see you next time for another video. I will be posting again this week, hopefully. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Without any further ado, let's get on with this case. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, no, there's one more disclaimer. This is gonna be a case where I'm looking at my laptop to the side of me right now just to make sure that I'm getting all the facts right. I feel like I have a responsibility of making sure that I get all the facts correct, not only for Austin's case so I don't get sued, but also any type of victims that have been in this type of situation, and also the victims who know we don't know their names, but I still feel like it's a duty to make sure that their information and what's been going on and what's happening is correct. So bear with me. Thank you. Let's get on with it. Austin was born on April 3rd, 1981 in Alvarado, Texas with his 2 sisters, 1 older sister and 1 younger sister, so he was the middle child. Where he was born was where he was raised. He stayed in Texas all the way up until he was 20 years old, but at 17 years old is when he came out to his friends and his family, and he did not initially get any support from his family, especially from his mom. During this time period, he also started to get into the gym a lot more and building up that muscle and his physique, and he said that this is some of the first early signs that his ego and his arrogance started to like flare up because he was finally starting to be seen as quote-unquote society's attractive man. When he moved to New York, the very first job that he got was a designer furniture retailer, but as soon as he got his job, he basically lost it due to the subprime crisis. It was a huge multinational financial crisis, and it actually led to a recession between 2007 and 2010. It caused a lot of people to lose their jobs, their homes, and a lot of businesses actually went bankrupt because of it. Now, using his new body, his looks, and his confidence to his advantage, he actually got a job as a gay bartender in New York before creating a profile on the escorting site Rent-A-Boy. Rent-A-Boy is exactly what it sounds like. It's literally a site where you rent a boy. They have their own rates. You can set up what you want to be able to do, what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, find who you wanted to do what you wanted to do with, and then you would see if they're from their description, if they were comfortable with what you were comfortable with, and you would literally rent a boy. I'm assuming that this brought in a lot of new revenue for him or some type of new success because he eventually just stopped working as a bartender altogether and became an escort. Now, a few years later in November 2012, he actually debuts his very first ever solo adult content video for a gay content studio called Randy Blue. Just so people know, because we're going to be talking about it a little bit later, so there's management and then there's the studios. I'm assuming that the studios are the people who actually make the videos, and you'll see like their names tagged. So more popularly known, I feel like you've heard of Black, you've heard of Bang Bros, you've heard, stuff like that. Like he signed exclusively with them though. So he wasn't allowed to work with any other studios until whatever contract that they had together was done. He worked for the studio for 3 years, and in those 3 years, he actually ended up debuting his very first partnered video where he was actually sleeping with somebody else, and he won 2 awards for the International Escort Awards for Best Top and Best Body. Now, according to Austin, the transition from being a retail associate to doing this type of content was actually super easy for him because he actually got a lot of support from his family and his friends, which is crazy because imagine your mom not supporting you being gay, but supporting you making gay videos. Like, I don't know, not judging nobody. I'm just saying it's a big jump. And he goes on to say that it was actually easier for him to come to terms with it on his own because it fueled his sex addiction, quote unquote. And clearly he was exactly where he needed to be because in the first year alone, he signed with a super notable adult film management company called Falcon Studios in 2013. Due to him signing to his new management, he became very, very well connected. He ended up getting connected to the show arts director of the Wendy Williams show, and on 3 separate occasions got cameos as a shirtless person on the show. It didn't stop there because he ended up getting a job as a stylist on the Broadway show Bears 22, and then he appeared in a Broadway show called The Big Man in the same year. Between the next 4-year gap, I can't find anything else like specifically that he did, but I assume that he was still building his reputation, getting affiliated with the community and just getting his name out there. In April 2017, he makes an OnlyFans account and becomes one of the very first creators to ever sell adult content on OnlyFans. Like, talk about a pioneer. I never knew until I did the research that OnlyFans wasn't made for the content that it's sold for, and it actually connected a lot of dots because I realized once that OnlyFans would do a lot of ads and they would never show what the app is really used for. It would be like vlogs, and I'm like, this is not what you're known for. But after further research, it was never a site started for the adult film industry. It just happened to be that. OnlyFans was the true start to his infamy as a creator because in the very first 2 weeks alone, he got over 1K subs, and 1K doesn't maybe sound like a lot nowadays, but you gotta think, base price I've ever seen on anybody's OnlyFans has been $5, and 2017 he was making $5,000 in 2 weeks alone, in under 2 weeks. Now in October 2018, he actually has his very first ever controversy, but it wasn't a controversy that really hindered him at all. He went viral for a preview of a video that he was posting on his OnlyFans site of an off-duty Delta Airlines worker performing oral gratification on him, and while he was in the Delta uniform in the Delta bathroom. Now, I've never seen the video. I'm not sure if it was just in a bathroom in the Delta terminal or if it was a bathroom in the Delta airplane, but I'm assuming it was in the terminal because, bro, like, what space do you have to be sneaking into the bathroom on an airplane? What? And how would you even get on an airplane? Like, anyways, context clues. This is 2018 and not 2025, where the shock value is literally to the ground because we see stuff like that all the time, unfortunately, and we're a little bit more desensitized than we were then. Obviously, Delta got wind of the video, and when they verified to see who the attendant was because he had his uniform on and his name tag was present in the video, he was fired, and he was pissed because according to the attendant, he never gave Austin consent to post the video. He never gave him consent to film. He had no idea that he was even filming, and Austin received hella backlash for this. Austin denies that he never got consent from it, but he received so much backlash that he actually ended up deleting his Instagram account, stating he wanted to get his life back on track. And clearly, that did not take very long because later that month, he went viral again for having relations with an Uber driver. Because of these 2 scandals, in that one singular month alone, Austin became the most searched gay adult star on all major adult sites. By the way, I'm gonna start saying like P-Hub, or I don't know, I feel like saying Cornhub kind of like makes this unserious, but if you know what site I'm talking about, or I'll just name it as The Hub, we're gonna see what feels a little bit more natural as I'm filming. So anyways, like I said, in 2019, he signed an exclusive contract with Cocky Boy Studio and became the 3rd most searched adult star in 2019. Using their leverage, the very next year became an official ambassador by The Hub in April 2020. They launched a site called Scrub Hub, which was a satirical series in response to the COVID pandemic, and it was just basically to urge people to wash their hands, because obviously if you're on that site, you know what you're already doing with your hands, and it's not clean to be touching all the outside and then touching, you know, all the inside, and then touching all your mouth and your face. It's dirty, it's nasty. And this blew him up to a different level. Like, he was already known before, like I said, because he had used his reputation to start OnlyFans, and he was on the Wendy Williams show. But after getting on the Scrub Hub and being an ambassador of such a huge adult film site, he actually ended up signing a contract with men.com, which is a very, 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 very popular gay adult film site, and this absolutely skyrocketed Austin and helped him solidify his relevancy in the community as a, you know, porn star. When I say skyrocketed, this blew him up. He immediately became one of the most recognizable faces in the gay porn industry and was collabing with the biggest stars. He ended up closing his OnlyFans account and made his own website so that he can post all his content there and garner all the income from there. And you gotta think, with 1 million followers on X and they're all following you only to see your naked content, I mean, just think about all the subscribers that he had on that account. And from a different source, later in the story we'll talk about it, he actually had multiple websites. He would start implementing storylines into his scenes and making it seem like people were following him home from the gym. He was starting to build the reputation around his content being him being older and bigger, and the people that he would work with the most being a little smaller or a little younger, but they were always adult men. I just want to make that clear. It was always adult men, but the tailoring of his video was like stepdad and stepson. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, he really played on that, and he was going viral for it.
What are your thoughts on twinks?
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a job.
So signing to men.com in 2023 honestly propelled him to such great heights. It seemed like from the outside looking in, he was very comfortable, and he was here to stay for a very long time. So how was it just under a year and a half later that articles on top of articles on top of articles are coming out and informing the public that he was not only arrested for possession of CP, but distributing it? When these reports came out, the internet was absolutely livid. Like, there was people who were happy that he was locked up, because a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, he had garnered his reputation around being the older big man, dating and having these relations with all these young boys. But in the midst of the anger and the happiness of him finally being caught and vindication of people feeling like they already knew that he was a weirdo and they were just waiting for it to be his time to be caught, there was a lot of confusion too. Like, how long had this been happening? Where did it come from? How long has this case been happening? Who else knew about it? Because there's just no way that he was working with the amount of people he was working with, and absolutely nobody knew. Because not only Austin had allegations of being an offender, but it was a lot of his co-stars too, and a lot of his co-stars would get a lot of hate for working with him so often, because it was like, you're playing into this age play and playing into this whole persona of him being older than you and being a father, and it's just weird, and it makes the community look bad. And it is a bad look, because netizens who were making claims that he was a weirdo and said that everyone needs to start looking out for him way before this even came out, I mean years before this even came out, were saying that he single-handedly was adding to the reputation of the gay community harming children. But him and his co-stars would just ignore it, and honestly, it's just like, what can you do until something like this happens? But now let's get into how he got caught, because him getting caught didn't even start off with him. The FBI had no idea that he was involved in this case until they caught somebody else and seized their phone and found out that the person that they caught got the videos and traded over 204 days with an account on Telegram called Anon Anon. Before he gets arrested, it's March 2024. FBI seized the phone of an offender. We're gonna name him Offender 1. In the court case linked below, I'll have it in the description. It's the arrest warrant request of Austin. Basically details the process of how they found him and why they believe they need an arrest warrant to keep him locked up so they can do a fair trial. In that request, they refer to the first person that they caught as User 1. There isn't a name attached to it, but today we're going to be calling them Offender 1. So FBI was already clearly on the tail of Offender 1, because somehow they got the information of where they lived, how they were getting caught. They must have been sharing it to somebody else as well on their own network. And in March 2024, as a part of a whole nother investigation, the FBI seized the phone belonging to Offender 1, and as they go through it, they see that he's referring to the account that he's getting all the videos from as the Smith account. And in only 4 days, Offender 1 and the Smith account exchanged over 200 videos between March 24th and March 28th. According to the court documents, some of the videos found on these 200 videos alone between those two had children as young as infants, and one allegedly showcased a 10-year-old boy tied up, beaten, and raped by an adult man. According to the court documents, on or about March 2024, the user of the Smith Telegram account sent target Telegram user 1 dozens of videos containing child pornography, including a video with the file name SDPDA gay 10-year-old boy tied and raped by adult. The video shows the child approximately 10 years old, bound, beaten, and raped by an adult man. Oh, that scared me a little bit. After seizing the phone and going through it and seeing what they seen, they obviously investigate offender one. And clearly because he's a giant fucking pussy, he immediately starts telling on Austin. Court documents stating that offender one revealed the user of the Smith Telegram account is a porn star who goes by the name Austin Wolf, and the two men had previously met in person. Now obviously the police don't know who Austin is. They didn't know who he was or that he had anything to do with this case before they seized the phone of offender one. So when he said that he met them, they were like, describe what he looks like, and they described him perfectly. The Anon account was using offender one's government name, but offender one wasn't going by his government name on the Telegram account, so they had to have some type of personal connection. And in offender one's statement, when he was explaining how he met Austin, offender one also provided the officers with Austin's government name, and he mentioned that when they met each other in person, they swapped their names like officially. Like, you know, they met each other and they were like, oh, my name is blah blah blah, my name is Justin Heath Smith. Also, wherever they saw each other to meet up for the first time in person was near Austin's house, because the defendant, or in this case offender one, if I say defendant, I'm speaking of defender one, by the way. Defendant one actually provided the approximate address of where Austin would live, so they also use this a little bit later. Just hold on to that. So now FBI has a lead. The FBI have no idea if the lead that was given to them by the offender is actually Austin or somebody else. So to prove it, the FBI take matters into their own hands, but it takes one whole month on April 14th or April 18th, 2024 for the FBI to go undercover using the Telegram account that they got from offender one and start messaging Austin through the Telegram account. Everybody texts differently, and yes, these are professionals and they might be able to replicate how someone speaks, but the FBI can't afford to take any chances with the lead, because if Austin does catch wind that he's speaking to the police, he'll clearly delete all the chats and the channels. But mind you, like I said earlier, Telegram doesn't take any note or monitor any conversations between any of the users. So if something does get deleted, there's not a copy that the police can go to refer to later to connect them back to Austin. According to the court documents, Austin never caught on to any of the conversations that he was engaging with the FBI, because they would throw in seemingly harmless jokes like the wolf never rests when Austin told them that he was going on vacation, adding stuff like, oh, that was corny, I'm sorry. Now mind you, if you notice what they did, they called him the wolf because, like I said, Austin knows that offender one knows that he is Austin Wolf. So it would make sense for offender one to be calling him the wolf. The Smith account replies to the message of them saying the wolf never rests with a winky emoji, suggesting that he understood what the joke was meaning that the context that the offender one gave the police was correct. Him putting that emoji just basically confirmed to the FBI that the information given to them by offender one was pretty consistent, and he does go by Austin Wolf. But that's still not enough. They still have to keep the conversation going. Now the Smith account writes to the FBI saying that they're going to be inactive for a few days while they go to the Caribbean for work, and they were going to be back sometime around April 21st. According to court documents, based on the review records maintained by United States Customs and Border Protection, I know that Smith departed from New York to St. Martin on or about April 14, 2024, and returned to New York from St. Martin on the evening of April 20th, 2024, consistent with the statement by the user of the Smith Telegram account. Remember when I told you guys that offender one said that he knew the approximate location of where Austin lived? And remember, they do also have his legal name given to them from offender one. So using his legal name and records from a telecommunication company, the FBI connected that the cell phone who belongs to Justin H. Smith, Austin's real name, stays in the same building in Manhattan. At this point, the FBI feels that they have exactly what they need to get a search warrant. So that's what they do. The very next month, FBI raided Smith's apartment and found the SD card on April 21st, 2024. Obviously, Austin has no idea that he's getting caught on to, so he didn't hide anything, and as soon as they raided his apartment, they found the SD card and they found his phone, seized all of it. After seizing Austin's phone, they used it to text the Telegram account they already had connection to from offender one with the message that they sent from Austin's phone popping up on offender one's phone, basically tying all together that it was Austin. It was Austin who was texting them the whole time, and this basically just proved everything all together. I don't know why it took so long for them to get an arrest warrant. They didn't get an arrest warrant until June 28, 2024, but he was arrested and taken into custody. Oh, and I also have to mention, when they were going through cell phone towers and they were looking through like the telecommunication company, they could also pinpoint exactly where Austin was in New York when he was receiving and he was sending the information, like the videos. Now, Austin currently faces 2 charges right now. 1 count of distribution of CP, which has a minimum sentence of 5 years and a maximum sentence of 20 years. And honestly, there should be no minimum. Like, it should only be the max and higher. There should be no minimum, if we're gonna be honest, below 100. Like, if I'm gonna be so for real, and the max should be another life. Throw 2 more lives on there. His second count is a count of possession of CP, and he has a max of 10 years. And Austin was arrested. He has not been to trial yet. His trial date is set to be February 26, 2024, and that's almost like half a year. But every time that his trial date gets closer and closer, the judges grant him a not him, but the FBI a 30-day continuance to extend the research on their case. So this is just honestly everything that we know right now. There's probably a lot more sick shit in that phone, and there's probably a lot more people connected to it, and I'm sure when the case does come out, there will be a lot more information. If you guys want a part 2 on that, let me know. His newest trial date is February 26, 2025, so literally tomorrow, and if he keeps getting granted extensions, it'll be extended till March, April, May, June, and it'll just keep going until the FBI feel like they have a strong enough case to get him the highest verdict that they can so he can stay in jail. Thank you, because he's like 40, so by the time he get out, he's gonna be like 80 anyway. Hopefully he'll make it that long. Austin is currently in custody, and he will seemingly be in custody until his trial starts and he gets the verdict. And after, I mean, in my opinion, it looks like he's guilty. From the evidence that, just from this one document alone, it seems like they have nothing but evidence on him. There's not really any way that you can conclude that this isn't him in these messages and him sending this information out. He has pled not guilty. The judge feels like he's a danger to society and he's a flight risk, so they will not allow him to receive bail, and his attorney feels very differently. His attorney says the government press release contains nothing but unproven, untested allegations against the man that is presumed innocent. Justin is thankful for the incredible support he's receiving from his friends and supporters. Now let's get into the netizen opinions, because like I said earlier, people were pissed and confused and mad and happy. It was a long day, and I was there, and it was a lot, but it was a lot more irritation. Like, yes, people are happy that he finally was arrested. Everyone, not everyone, but a big portion of the internet were saying this man is weird. And I'm not gonna lie, I even felt it myself. Now this is my own personal opinion. Like I said, I'm not trying to persuade anybody else, but when I had first discovered him, I don't know, like maybe like a year or two ago, it was him and an actual buff man, like, you know, facial hair, tattoos, and you know, just you could just tell that, you know, you could tell when somebody is a little bit younger, and you can just tell when someone's a little bit older, and you can just tell from their body physique and how they hold themselves. You know what I mean? When I first saw his content, I had no problem with it, but I noticed quickly that it was a lot more of, like I said, the age play stuff. Like in a lot of his videos, he'll do stuff where in the midst of them doing the deed and having relations, he'll literally ask them, how old did you just turn? And the person will be like, I just turned 18. What made it a little bit more weird was just like, not only do I not agree with anybody close to the age of 43 being any type of sexual with somebody that is 18, that's a little bit younger than me. It also made me feel uncomfortable to even watch it, because these boys were not only super skinny. Like, if you don't know what a TWINKS is, I don't want to say like the word, I don't know if YouTube gonna clip it, but you know what word I'm about to say. That word is associated with really skinny, really small gay men. Now, it's one thing to be super skinny, super small, and then literally be a pubescent. His content will only center around men who are just barely legal, had no type of tattoos, no facial hair, no body hair, no nothing. And it was just like, this, honestly, you could tell me this was a 16-year-old and I'd believe it. And that's where I was just like, no. So I just ended up blocking him then, but that's way before all this stuff came out. And like I said, the same experience is shared between a lot of netizens. It seems like a lot of them are very happy that he's arrested and want nothing but the worst from him. One of them saying, I always knew that he was creepy. Another goes on to say, we all knew it was gonna happen sooner or later. Lock him up and throw the key away. Another one going on to say, finally, this disgusting creature is going to jail, finally. And what's crazy is I was trying to look for a lot more of like the people in this industry that say anything about him, but I could not find anything. But I did find one that said, you can't trust men that are into twinks. It might be harder for people who aren't in the community to see through that line and, you know, clearly distinguish the two, but I'm telling you, in the community, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. And it gets to a point where it's not even a problem if you like, you know, the boys that maybe look like that. You know, if it's one time here and there, that's not my cup of tea. But if you do mess with someone like that and it's an age appropriate relationship and they're also 18, they're legal, I can't be mad at that. Like, what? Like, who am I? But when you only want that, it does definitely send some red flags. There was another star that I don't want to name their name and like dox them, because I'm scared this is probably going to even get to the community of people who worked around Austin and they try to like kill me or something. I don't know. Not kill me, but you know, I don't want them to be mad at me or nothing, because I'm not beefing with nobody who sell booty. It's just no shame. But there was an account that actually is known for doing content with his boyfriend and his boyfriend doing content with him, but they also do content with other people. And he was somebody, I didn't even realize how much him and Austin worked together, but I remember when this case came out, he made a statement about Austin. He said he had no idea that Austin was doing this, but he had only heard stuff before, and he got cooked. Because comments were like, why, if you heard about it, why were you still working with him? And then mind you, I just assumed that they had maybe a few collabs here and there. Y'all, I go back to look for the tweet. The tweet's gone. My search of looking for the tweet, I found out that he has worked with Austin over like 15 times. Like, there's mad videos of him and Austin just going down his page. And another thing I've noticed was, as soon as he got caught, as soon as Austin was caught, a lot of people deleted all their content with him. Even the like boys that he was messing with over and over and over, there was a lot of them that were just like, nope, I'm just deleting. And I don't want to say boys to diminish their manhood, but you know what I mean? Like, but the men who are a little bit smaller and could, you know, pass off for that age play fantasy that he was selling. A lot of people were forcing him to delete the content with Austin, or they weren't going to support them anymore. And so obviously these people were deleting it. And so going back and seeing that the person I mentioned previously that was working with him so many times kept the content up till this day after being cooked about, you know, his original statement, it's a little iffy to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of side-eyeing it a little bit. And I don't know, I can't really support it, so I just went ahead and unfollowed them. I mean, I wasn't subscribed to no OF anyway, but yeah, you're definitely not getting no likes out of me, no bookmarks. Ooh, actually no, speaking of, there was an account. There is no confirmed validity to this. This is just somebody's tweet on the internet, but I thought it would be interesting to share with you guys. Around the time Austin got arrested, someone went on the internet and said this: I met up with a really famous creator last night who's currently Austin Will's favorite bottom. Like, I know this for a fact because he sleeps at his house all the time. And he told me that this man always wanted to have a son so he could fuck him, and he was currently in love with an 11-year-old. Literally gave me goosebumps. I'm sorry, it's just weird. It's just so weird. It's just so odd, because why is there even like allegations of this coming out about you? You're too known. You're too, not even too known. It got nothing to do with you being known. I just don't understand, one, why you would ever be even comfortable sharing that with somebody, especially when you know that the boys that you collab with are literally already looking like children. Like, if that doesn't freak you out, I don't know what will. Like, actually, the cops would have been called if it was me. And then putting the context together of, you know, the one creator I was telling you about earlier saying that he had heard around that Austin was into this type of stuff, and then seeing videos, because Austin does have content where he would invite people over and then sneak into the bed, and like, he would be recording them, and it would be one of them night vision cameras, and he would sneak into the room naked while they were naked and literally just start having relations with them. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just a lot of things are matching up, and it definitely begs some interesting questions. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too confusing. I'm gonna really try to edit this to make it as least confusing as possible and get the correct facts out. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was very different for me, and if you guys would like more of these videos, let me know in the comments. And if you guys have any recommendations for cases you guys want me to cover in the future, let me know. And also, if you have any recommendations on how I can make this a bit better and a little bit more concise, let me know. But if you're gonna let me know politely, please. Thank you. Also, I just want to make one more last disclaimer that this is not a gay community thing. This is just a sick person thing, and I just want to really stress that, because I've noticed that this case has been used as a political catalyst of homophobia. So that's never good. I appreciate y'all so much. Please stay safe out there. I love y'all 100 times. Kisses on both cheeks. Bye.